Good morning, metalheads of the internet, and welcome to a new episode of the Metal Meltdown! And today, we are looking at a brand new cover album from Arma entitled Garber Days Revisited. 2020, on top of being the year where the whole fucking earth falls apart, happens to be the year where every single metal band puts out some kind of cover release. We've seen some small-scale cover EPs from Chemist and Spirit Adrift. Leon Del Muerte put out a cover album for charity about a month ago, featuring members of Intronaut, Imperial Triumphant, Gorguts, Exhumed, Carcass. We've seen full-blown tribute albums to Nirvana and Elvis Presley from Thou and Danzig respectively. We've seen Bobby Blitz, Mike Portnoy, Phil Demmel unite in BPMD, paying tribute to some American rock classics from Ted Nugent, Leonard Skinner, Grand Funk Railroad, Aerosmith. And on top of that, in a post-quarantine world, it seems as though a lot of bands are recording and releasing covers just to kill some time. Take, for instance, Venom Prison, who just released a cover of Stomping Ground's Officer Down, and of course the folks from Mutoid Man and 2 Minutes to Late Night, who have been releasing some pretty interesting covers on a nearly weekly basis with a rotating lineup of special guests and musicians. But of all these projects, the one I've been most intrigued by is this one, Garber Days Revisited from Arma. A band who have been dazzling the metal community worldwide for a few years now with their incredibly oppressive and melancholic doom sludge post-metal fusion sound. Namely on records like 2016's Paradise Gallows and last year's Sulphur English, the latter of which I was initially somewhat underwhelmed by, but I'll admit it has grown on me a lot since my initial review. Not only are they paying tribute to some of the best tracks from some of the most iconic bands of all time, but they're pulling from such a wide range of musical influences and backgrounds. I mean, seriously folks, name one other cover album where you'll get a Venom cover, a Husker Du cover, a Tom Petty cover, and a fucking Prince cover all in one go. And also because, as evidenced at least in the promo singles, it seemed as though Arma was not going to be satisfied with playing the original songs as conceived and intended to be performed, albeit with heavier guitars, which is the approach that most metal bands take when recording covers. It looked as though they were going to be approaching these songs as blank canvases, incorporating a lot of the ideas that perhaps made these songs as iconic as they were, but adding their own unique spin and flavor. To the point where if I approached a less knowledgeable listener and told them that these were all original tracks, they might have believed me. Take, for instance, opening track Scarecrow. The horrific dystopian industrial alt-metal vibes of Ministry do remain somewhat intact at the very core of this number, particularly within the keyboards and electronics that can be found floating in and out of the forefront. But this is noticeably a lot more bleak, demented, and anguished, to the point where it probably could have fit, at the very least, as a bonus track on the band's previous studio album. Or on the track Southern Man, which manages to transform the bitter yet wholesome heartland rock of Neil Young into something genuinely quite haunting, with eerie vocal harmonies, a spirited guitar solo, thick walls of boggy, muddy guitar and bass that make it sound and feel as if the titular Southern Man is drowning within the swamps of the South itself. Or on one of my favorite tracks on the record, The Girl Who Lives on Heaven Hill. What was once a fun, noisy post-punk number in the hands of Husker Du now sounds like the freak child of Death Heaven's blackened post-metal brewery and Kvelertek's pure hardcore rock and roll spirit. It's loud, it's sharp. I particularly love the ferocious tremoling riffing contrasted with the traditional Husker Du melody, which now sounds like something I would sing in a bar after one too many pints. These songs have not only allowed Arma to reflect on their musical roots and inspirations, they've given them the opportunity to, I would say, expand their sonic palette as a band. There's a lot of stuff in these numbers that you just wouldn't find on a regular Arma release, even on the numbers that do seem to stand a little bit closer to their original cuts. Take, for instance, Hard Times and March of the Pigs, originally from Cro-Mags and 9 Inch Nails, respectively. There's a much more punky flavor here that I'm noticing to Arma that I wouldn't have gotten from Paradise Gallows, or on their faithful and surprisingly emotive cover of Prince and the Revolution's Purple Rain. It very much retains the transparency and heartache that makes Purple Rain such an iconic number, but here Inter Arma take advantage of the fact that they are objectively a lot less lavish than Prince and the Revolution. And as such, it's intentionally performed maybe just a little bit sloppier, as if to paint an oddly wholesome picture of a group of friends just sharing and enjoying each other's company, drinking into the night, and jamming their hearts out. I would honestly give this thing a 3.5 out of 5. It's a smart and exciting love letter to some of the greatest songs and bands of all time, blending elements from each of the track's respective musical worlds with everything that has made Inter Arma so exciting and immersive, and in some cases pushing them into some brand new sonic territory. Probably wouldn't knock Paradise Gallows or Sulphur English from your playlist, particularly not when considering tracks like Running Down a Dream, which objectively are nowhere near as ambitious as any of the tracks on Garber Days Revisited, let alone the rest of Inter Arma's catalog, but I don't really think it's trying to be. I think at the end of the day, despite whatever musical innovations may exist on this record for the band, it's just trying to be fun. And that is something that a lot of these cover albums kind of miss out on, is being fun. They become so obsessed with replicating a sound, a concept, an idea that they just fail to entertain. Cough, cough, Danzig sings Elvis. Cough, cough. Whew, I gotta get that checked out. This is, above all else, fun. It just so happens that they may have paved the road to some more progressive and open-minded sonic territory in the future via some of the more ambitious endeavors of this record. So, 3.5 out of 5, check it out. Even if you're not an Inter Arma fan, it's still a damn good record. And that is it for the Metal Meltdown. I'm not an expert, nor do I claim to be. So what do you think? Do you like this record? Do you not like this record? And what do you want to hear from me next? Thank you for watching. Make sure you press subscribe so you get updates on the Metal Meltdown immediately, and you have yourself a fantastic fucking day.